what's good out there, world? Welcome to this edition of Trademark Sunday's Best, the Prep Edition. And today, I'm going to be making for you a meatball smothered in gravy, and I'm going to do a seasoned spaghetti pasta, and I'm also going to add some shrimps to that. And let's get to the ingredients. So right here, I have 2 1-pound things of ground beef. I'm going to also be using 2 eggs, and to season my ground beef, I'm going to be using this Lipton beef onion noodle soup. It is excellent. And I'm also going to be using some flour and also salt, pepper, garlic pepper, onion powder, and I'm trying some of this Slap Your Mama seasoning. And right here, I'm going to be using some of my favorite seasoning, and this is some salt-free garlic and bell pepper. And also, this is one of my other favorites, and this is the Better Than Bouillon roasted beef flavor base. And they got like vegetable, chicken, I got all of them. And I'm going to also be using a thin noodle. I also have 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers. I'm going to be using some salted butter. And here in the back, I have some frozen shrimp, and they already deveined, easy peel. And I'm going to be using a green pepper, and I have some onion. And I'm going to be using other onions. And if I'm going to be using something that you don't see it here on the table, I will put it in the video as I'm using it. But once again, here are the ingredients for this meatball smothered in gravy with a seasoned spaghetti pasta and shrimps. Now let's get to cooking. So now let's get started with this meatball mix. I already got my 2 pounds of ground beef in my bowl, and I just want to like chop it up a little bit. So next, I'm going to add in, this is like 1 envelope of the Lipton beef onion soup mix. I'm going to add in 1 medium onion. And this is 1/2 of a green pepper. And I have my Ritz crackers here. I'm going to probably use like 1/2 of a sleeve and just crush these up really good. I'm going to use just a little bit more. So it was like a little more than 1/2 a sleeve. And here are my 2 eggs. And everything was at room temperature as far as the eggs and also my meat. And the only other seasonings I'm going to add, this is 2 teaspoons of my red pepper and my roasted garlic and bell red peppers and a teaspoon of garlic. And I'm going to add like 1 teaspoon of this Slap Your Mama Creole seasoning. And I'm just going to like mix this all together. So now I'm taking my ice cream scooper and I'm scooping out some ground beef, and I'm just, making some little meatballs. And so here are my meatballs laid out in a pan. Like I said earlier, I preheated the oven at 325 degrees, and I'm going to leave these in there like for 20 minutes uncovered. And while that's going on, I'm going to be boiling my water for my spaghetti and to mix this this beef base, so I can make my gravy. So let's get to it. So now that my water has come to a boil, I'm going to add my noodles in. I like to break mine in half. I actually like the noodles that come in already like broken like in half. And I'm going to cook these noodles for like 9 to 11 minutes. Normally my thinner noodles, I cook them just like for 9 minutes and I get them off the stove. So right here I have 5 cups of hot water, and I'm going to add like 5 teaspoons of this Better Than Boiling beef base. And this is going to be, like I said, for the basis of my beef gravy. And we just going to stir that in until it all dissolves. Make sure we get all of it out. And once we get this all dissolved, we're just going to set this to the side until it's time to make the gravy. So now I'm getting ready to make my shrimp. So I got my butter in the pan, and I normally like to add a little seasoning to my pan. And this ain't nothing but a little vegetable seasoning, and I already added some seasoning to my shrimp. And I'm just going to cook my shrimp like for 1 to 2 minutes per side. Now, like I said, these aren't fresh, these were frozen. This is something that I decided to add with the meal at the last minute. So I had to run to the store to go take care of that. And we're going to cook these for 1 to 2 minutes per side before we flip it over. So my shrimps had already cooked for 2 minutes per side. I threw a little parsley on there. They're nice and pink. There it goes. So here go my shrimp. I'm gonna get ready to get the meatballs out the oven, and we're going to get to the next step of this. So now that my meatballs are done, I'm just picking them up and I'm just lightly squeezing them so I can get that excess grease from out of it. And just setting them up here on my plate. And now we're going to get to the next step of making it. So now let's make the gravy. So right here I'm using 1/3 cup of this. This is just the grease from the beef, but I didn't use the fat. I just, got all the grease from out of it and took the fat away. And I'm gonna let this get hot. There's a couple green peppers and onions I got there. And now I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of flour. And I'm just gonna give this a stir. And we're gonna stir this like for 5 to 6 minutes. So now that it's turned brown, I'm going to add in, this is a tablespoon of minced garlic. And right here, this is just a half of green pepper and like 4 spring onions. And I'm going to stir this in, and I'm going to let this saute like for 5 minutes before I add in my base. So now I'm going to add in my 5 cups of broth. And I'm just going to give this a stir. A quick one. And now I'm going to add in some seasonings. I'm going to add in just a little pinch of salt. And I'm going to do the same for this black pepper. Now I'm doing a little more of a pinch of this black pepper because I like black pepper. Remember, you can do this to your liking. And this is going to be like a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of dry thymes. And like I said, we're going to give this a stir, and we're going to let this come to a simmer. before we add in the meatballs. So now that my gravy has come to a simmer and you can see it's gotten a little thicker, I'm going to now add in my meatballs. And I'm going to let these simmer for like 30-35 minutes. Making sure I get gravy on all of it. Pop the lid on it and give this 35 minutes.